voters trusted him. Draining the swamp is what got him into office. Once they realize he's an alligator in the swamp, his constituents are no longer following him blindly.
This is for educational and entertainment purposes only.
Hello, and welcome to the Think Tank, where we use critical thinking, deductive reasoning, just a pinch of common sense to draw unbiased logical conclusions. Today we're here to talk about the fact that the full Jack Smith interview conducted by Congress was released to the public. And we're going to do it from two different perspectives. We're going to do it from the MAGA perspective and against the MAGA perspective, as we always do here on the Think Tank. If you like this, please like, share, subscribe. That subscription will let you know that when we drop a new episode, when we got a live, so that you can chime in, put your thoughts in, so that you can hear what's going on. So with no further ado, my co-host is going to introduce himself, and we're going to be off and running. Dion?
Hey, Happy New Year, family. I'm District Leader Dion Powell of the Bronx Conservative Party, 80-20 Trumpster, community leader, and consultant. So to be a solutionist, hopefully I can find how to answer all Leo's questions and yours.
I have a lot of them. So Jack Smith said prior to this interview being released that he had evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that Donald Trump had committed insurrection by inciting the January 6th riots. Now, let it be said that he's not a jury. He's not a judge. He can't say if Trump was guilty or not. He can't say what a jury would have found. With that being stated, what he does say when asked by Congress, because they pointed that out, like, yo, hold up, time out. So you saying he's guilty? Who are you to say he's guilty? And that's not how they said it, but that's what they said. And he was like, well, look, based on the evidence I got, I think we'd have got a victory with no problem. We didn't have enough evidence to indict him and bring him before court. We had enough to convict. We had beyond a reasonable doubt. So with that being said, I don't know how true it is, but Donald Trump is trying to shade it. Oh, y'all cut my speech up and made it sound like y'all put two different parts of my speech together that didn't belong together. But you said it. Like, hold up. So I told him to march and blah, 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 blah. And if we didn't do this, our country would fail. But I didn't say it there though. But you said it, right? But no, I'm suing. Hey everybody, this is your boy Leo. You know me. I've been doing commercials for 15 years, television commercials, radio ads, billboards. Now I'm trying to step it into the big leagues. I want to be an independent filmmaker. I've got the degrees, I've got the experience, and I need your help to make my first independent film, Garot. So Garot is Boys in the Hood meets Clue. So these dudes from Brooklyn is trying to buy their drugs to supply the hood. So they go to the mafia stronghold and they purchase their drugs, but one of them turns up dead. And now there's a race to find out who did it. The Godfather's going to send in his hit squad, Squadra Assassina, to take them out. They don't figure out who did it because somebody died on his turf and he's not happy and he can't have stuff like that happening in his business. So please, if you want to show support, my Kickstarter campaign is down in the description box. Okay. Now, MAGA has their own perspective on how all this went down. I do believe it is time for me to drop the mic or allow MAGA to respond. Dion?
Listen, we all know this man was rushing to try to throw this man in jail before he could get reelected. We all know this guy. As soon as this guy won the election, he said, listen, I can't continue further. This man is not the president of the United States. So it wasn't really about justice, anything. Just like with the victims, like we talked about in a previous episode. So Jack Smith's credibility is shot. His whole legal future is tarnished and if not ruined. And so Excuse me. And so this testimony before the Judiciary Committee, in my opinion, is meaningless. I mean, what evidence does he have to prove that Donald Trump instigated anything? Was he there? I mean, that's what I'm wondering. What is he going to present this committee to prove that Donald Trump incited this riot, other than the usual hearsay in theory? That's my point. But for me, his credibility shot.
So
And this
he
is
was
where I agree
credible.
with the president, 80% of that 80% against this guy. This guy's another person that is deranged and tried to weaponize the law system and his craft to take down a candidate for president of the United States.
Well, I would like to bring to your attention
Please do.
that if Donald Trump actually incited an insurrection, he would be ineligible to run for president.
Oh, do tell. Go on, Leo. Educate us.
Isn't
What
that
other good news?
isn't that one of the things? Like, you have to be a certain age, you can't have incited an insurrection. Isn't that like the law? You can't have incited an insurrection and run for office.
Constitution?
Yeah. So he would have been ineligible to run, and that's why he was taken off the ballot in certain states. But he wasn't found guilty. Now, as far as taking Jack Smith off taking Donald Trump off and dropping the case, once Donald Trump was president, he didn't want to bring a felony case to a sitting president. If he lost his credibility to you because he didn't indict a sitting president, okay. I think the average American can look and say, oh, nah, you're not going to bring charges on the president of the United States. That sounds kind of crazy. He just won. That would be riots in the street. You better drop the charges. Because we already saw what MAGA did when he tried to get out of office the first time. He just wins the election, allegedly, and now you're trying to bring charges. You better drop them charges. I think that's kind of common sense. What do you think about that?
Well, again, the fall to is January 6th. And right now, in the education system, they're trying to teach kids about January 6th being insurrection to make sure it's programmed in their childlike minds, which is disgusting. So again, people are tired of January 6th, and they've already seen with the BBC reporting with the edited footage to make it look like Donald Trump incited the riot. People don't have short-term memory. They remember social media deactivating Trump's account when he was communicating with the world real time and cutting the speech. So hopefully everybody does their research, but January 6th is not holding up anymore, especially when the FBI had some of their people in there as well. So me, it was an inside job. Black America, I'm sorry. If it were black people, maybe they'd all be shot and dead. But this, obviously, FBI was involved in there because even in our movement, there are FBI agents and CIA agents. Don't we agree, Black America?
Well, Trump and MAGA says, don't believe what you see, believe what we tell you.
What incited this, Leo? Who amped these people up to go
Well,
in
you
there?
said that it was
Just
you
like
said so.
BLM and Antifa breaking windows at the local Targets. People are not believing this.
These people, the police are trying to hold the line. They're pushing through the line. They're scaling the walls of the Capitol. Like, they're scaling the walls of the Capitol. Because you just tried to say that they should not be teaching that this is an insurrection in school. While they were literally scaling the walls of the Capitol and busting down police barricades to get in. Kash Patel, nominated for the position of head of the FBI by Donald Trump, who pushed him to get his seat in the FBI, has gone through the files and said, no, the FBI had nothing to do with anything causing the insurrection on January 6th. So even Donald Trump's people are saying the FBI had nothing to do with it. So the conspiracy theory that you're peddling to our listeners is not supported by Donald Trump's administration.
And this is when we disagree with the 20% of the time. So we all have our own footage and doing our own research with the own subtracts and rumbles and things of that nature and the Patreons. This information is out there. People are starting to crack this insurrection stuff because they've been lied to in so many other instances.
This doesn't look good. This is not, you can't make this stuff up. Like, look at this, climbing through windows. Like, what the heck? Like, bro, like, you're telling people not to believe what they see with their own eyes, and you're saying people don't believe it because you think that people are stupid. Like, I don't understand. Look at what happened. They're scaling the walls. They're fighting police. One police officer lost their life. Look at them fighting the police. And then he says he has phone calls because they was like, oh, our phones were tapped. Jack Smith, in response to saying that their phones, that some of Congress had their phones tapped, was, well, we was tracing Donald Trump's phone calls, which tracks. You got to know what this man is doing. Like, yo, he's the president. He's calling you people. He wants to know. They want to know what was said on those phone calls. Oh, he typed out our line shouldn't have been tapped. What were you talking about to the president at the time when this insurrection was happening, when he was sitting there and it's documented he did nothing to stop it? He didn't call it. So let me get this right. Because I want to be sure about this. So he can call in the troops into Washington when the crime rate has actually gone down. He can call in the troops into California for God knows what his reason. Portland, Chicago. He wanted to send troops to New York and New Jersey. He can call in the military for that. But when these kind of things are happening, when the police are being overwhelmed, then he doesn't call in the police.
Pay close attention, family, and engage.
Why are you letting this happen? Why haven't you called for backup? Where is your backup? This is our damn Capitol building, and y'all are letting it get destroyed on your watch. Fuck all of you. Call for backup. Get some help down here. And if they don't want to get you fucking backup, they obviously don't give a shit about you.
You're a prior military. What is a stand-down order?
Who would have called in for backup? Whose job would it have been to send in the backup in the military?
You tell me. You're prior military. You educate us all.
I would think that the executive branch, the commander-in-chief, would be the one to make the call.
Before we go there, Leo, as prior military, explain to the audience what is the definition of a stand-down order?
I think that's pretty self-explanatory. It would mean that
when it comes to a situation like this, where you have the law enforcement just standing there, not doing their job to protect federal property, how does that relate to that situation? What is a stand-down order? And how would it relate to the situation that just unfolded before our very eyeballs? You said trust your eyeballs, so Dion gave you something for your eyeballs to eat. So explain.
He didn't say, so if you watch the video, he did not say that these guys weren't doing their job. That's not what he said. What he said was he didn't call for backup. Now,
what is a stand-down order?
He didn't say that he was standing down.
I didn't say that. I'm just asking you, what is a stand-down order?
It means to back off and not do anything. Right. But he never said that they were doing that. He said he didn't call for backup. So that one little clip doesn't say, well, they might have called for backup before that. We don't know what happened. He's assuming they didn't call for backup.
Why aren't they engaging? Well, at least they're calling for backup.
Maybe they were standing where they needed to stand because they were guarding something important or important people. Where they could
were
not.
ordered to stand there, or that's under their own volition because they were too smart to get involved?
I don't know. I wasn't there. You want me to?
Exactly. The FBI again, Nancy Pelosi again didn't listen to Trump when he said we should send the National Guard. They
So
basically
then, when it started, why didn't he send them? When it was going on, why didn't he send them?
DC Mayor Bowser, DC
Sent
Mayor
them when
Bowser.
black people were there and tear gas black people for just having peaceful protests, but there's an entire insurrection going on that's benefiting him, and he didn't do anything.
We know that insurrection was an inside job, yo. This just goes to prove it. That's my point.
What are you talking about? The fact that he didn't send in the troops, yes, it was an inside job and it came from the top.
Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi's not over the president, despite what you say. Nancy Pelosi's life was in danger. Trump was sitting in his bunker watching. Donald Trump was sitting there watching on a screen, eating his Whopper, probably.
Oh, God.
What? He likes his McDonald's.
Okay.
So you showed me a clip of someone asking police officers, why didn't they call for backup? Maybe they already did.
Notice.
Maybe they were guarding an important area where, I don't know, the Congress had to be shuffled through because they was being chased down in the building. Or maybe, here's one for you, maybe they're MAGA and they wanted to see this.
Sick.
It's possible. A lot of MAGA people went in. Maybe they too were MAGA and they liked what they were watching. How about that?
That's possible. But
It is.
even still, President Trump had nothing to do with this again.
That is not what the evidence. Listen, so why was he calling these congressmen, having the type of conversations he was having with them? And why is it that Congress doesn't seem to believe that Trump had nothing to do with it? Because Congress, after hearing Jack Smith's testimony, doesn't believe that. I'm talking about MAGA Republicans are now like, oh, what?
If I'm not mistaken, the evidence that they observed in the original J6 committee hearings, they destroyed. Why would they have to destroy evidence that they just reviewed one time? Why can't we revisit that? But in hindsight, which is always 2020, we're starting to see the cracks in the whole January 6th narrative. That's the point. The internet can lie as much as it needs, but thanks to X, Substacks, Rumble, and other alternative media, this information is out there. Of course, we're crazy conspiracy theories with the tinfoil hat, but still, it's not holding up.
NPR, I know you don't like them. January 6th riots does not happen without Trump, Jack Smith says. 7 takeaways. Report of Special Counsel Smith, Volume 1. Jack Smith says Trump allies were willing to testify against him. This is the evidence that's damning. His own people were willing to testify against him. Do you think Jack Smith was lying about that?
Could be. Just like what's this other Michael Cohen, I think his name is, another lawyer. Now, Trump that would lie. I don't trust these. I should say we don't trust these guys, Leo. They're too Trump deranged.
The guys that used to work closest to him that flip on him are Trump deranged. Why do you think they're willing to flip on him after working with him so closely?
Because they thought that the Democrats would be able to take him down and they would be in the riches with their tell-all book. Unfortunately, that backfired in their face. The people still loved him, overwhelmingly to elect him not once, but twice, with a gap.
Well, it does appear that I think he's only the second president in history to take the office after pulling the rabbit ears. However, I think that his popularity based on his policies has fallen. I think that he is the weakest he's ever been physically, mentally, emotionally, politically.
Well, again, Leo, you know what? I agree that we talk about policy as in right now, then we have an argument. He is weak in certain areas. He is up in age, but again, hitting him with lies and things that had nothing to do with him is not going to work. If you're going to take this man down, take him down on record, and that's what we.
I believe that his own people testifying
Direction
against
not
him
going to
is
work.
record.
Sex charge not going to work. Epstein files is not going to work. Just go with the policies that hurt in America and just stick to that.
I don't think that's true. I think that him protecting P-files is hurting him worse than just about anything else, which is why he wants to do. He's willing to
That
take
doesn't
such
affect
hits,
everyday people, Leo. Like gas prices that are going
but it affects his voters. His voters not trusting him. His voters trusted him. Draining the swamp is what got him into office. Once they realize he's an alligator in the swamp, his constituents are no longer following him blindly, most of them. So now that there's such a rift because they see him for the liar in chief that he is, for the felon that he was, and that he's extended into the Oval Office based on the fact that he won't release the files, which is a law, a federal law. The fact that he's covering for these P files, I think, made a lot of MAGA sick to their stomachs. And that was the beginning of why they're able to look now and be like, yo, hold up, time out. Prices didn't go down. Wait a minute. What kind of lies are you telling me? Yo, who pays for tariffs? Before they realized he was a liar, because of the Epstein files, if he had just released the files, no matter what was in it, he could have gotten away with it at one point. He blew it by not less. He could have. What he's doing now is brilliant, by the way. He's releasing a bunch of false information along with the files so that when the real information comes out about him, people don't know what to believe. That's actually a kind of brilliant strategy. So you don't know that he's releasing a bunch of fake stuff. I'm not going to get into the Epstein files. Anyway, any closing statements here?
Hey, family, happy 2026. This year, reminding you, we are the media, and now so are you. You got to freaking share this content. Add your own content, do all those YouTube tricks, put out there on your Patreon, try to make some money off us with your own opinion and your own facts. And that way, we can push out the old media and replace it with the new.
Leo and Dion signing out.